Bookie Beatdown coming at you. Paul and Cody breaking down UFC Vegas 109. 12 fight card and a late edition. Everyone's favorite in Cody Brundage. So I don't know if they're taking any no contest props on this, but I wish they did because it would be live. Anything to say before we get into the action? You already did the recap and everything like that. So
yeah, and we said on the recap there was only 11 fights, and I'm like, that doesn't seem like the UFC style lately. It's always 12, 13, 14. I'm like, I bet you they throw something on, and then sure enough, they do. But it wasn't someone whose opponent had gotten hurt. It's just a completely out of thin air Eryk McConico, Cody Brundage. Anyways, I'm here for it, Paul. The main thing is, years back when we're doing this show, it's like you really only need to find 2 plays that you really liked, and then you put them together, you make some money. Now you're always stretching to find who the value play is, because just look at these lines, man. Julius Walker minus 600, Elijah Smith minus 700, Joselyne Edwards minus 310, Gabriella Fernandes minus 400, Medić minus 450, Anthony Hernandez minus 330, John Matsumoto minus 300, Christian Leroy Duncan minus 550, Steve Erceg minus 600. There is, you could put a 10-leg parlay together with these big favorites, and it pays 8-1. So, yeah, man, literally there's a giant emphasis on let's find the value play. Hope they come through, man.
Yeah, I for out of interest, before Brundage McConico was added to the card, I parlayed all, like I didn't actually parlay it, but out of interest, I put them all together in a parlay. I'm like, what is that paying? It was like 12-1 for an 11-leg parlay. I'm like,
for the whole card, yeah.
If you that seems like a hard way to. That seems like you're asking for a lot. Definitely asking for a lot. Let's see if we can find the pie shitters here, Cody.
Yes,
Start with the main event. We've got Roman Dolidze taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Hernandez a minus 330 favorite to come back on Roman plus 270. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so like this is a better live betting spot. Not everything has to be a parlay. Not everything has to be a straight pick. Not everything has to be a prop. It can be a live bet, and you know you're going to get a better live price on Fluffy Hernandez because that's the style he fights. Now, I'm the first and foremost guy to say he's built for 5 rounds, baby. Main events is where he should be because he really just has a weaponized gas tank. He can fight into those later rounds. 4 and 5 is made for him. He'll be just fine. But he's a super slow starter. And beyond that, he maybe has durability issues. If he's going to lose this fight, he's going to lose this fight in the first round or second round. After that, I do fully think he takes over. Now, at minus 330 pre-flop, yeah, as much as I got him, it's going to be a tough first 2 rounds, 100%. Roman Dolidze is a bad style clash for him, a very tough fighter, the toughest guy he's fought to date, the biggest guy he's fought to date. This is by no means a walk in the park, and I do expect it to be a very competitive fight for those first 2 rounds, as I mentioned. I just think Fluffy has a way to Fluffy, man, and that pressure, that constant grind, those multiple takedowns eventually takes over for you. Anyways, what I mean about the durability is when you look back at his loss to Marcus Perez, right? He gets hurt twice in that fight, but eventually gives up the anaconda choke. His loss to Kevin Holland, who's a welterweight, this one didn't age good considering Holland's not the biggest, most, a top-level middleweight, but Holland takes him out 39 seconds, knees to the body. Second time he'd been hurt to the body, but finished by Holland in 39 seconds. He lost the first round to Edmund Shabazian on all 3 judges' scorecards. He lost the first round to Roman Kopylov on one of the judges' scorecards. He got seriously stung to the body against Michel Pereira in the first round. Still won the first round because he came back and made the latter half his daddy. But the first little bit, it's like, it looks like he's over. Left hook, right hook, knee up the middle, left shot to the liver. And it's like, oh, it looks like he dookied himself, postures back up, comes back on. But there's no denying that, like, as far as his striking goes, he'll show high volume in fights, but it's all ground and pound, right? As far as his actual stand-up goes, it's very mechanical. Head's kind of up in the air, tries to roll with some punches, soft to the body, obviously. He's willing to throw down. It's just that's not the path to victory for him. His BJJ, it's good. Don't get me wrong. Guy's got a submission win over Rodolfo Vieira. We all know how good his grappling could be at that level, but it's more so just constant dragging you back to the ground. Mat return after mat return after mat return, single leg, double leg, back to the canvas. That rinse and repeat formula, I think, is going to eventually break on through. Now, why this is such a tough fight in Roman Dolidze is that, again, Roman Dolidze has fought as high as 205 pounds. And Fluffy coming in at 6 feet tall, like he's not even really that big of a middleweight. He's fought in guys like Michel Pereira, former welterweight. He's fought guys, I wouldn't necessarily say that are small. I just feel like a big, good size 185er is going to give him problems. Dolidze has given up takedowns to some shitty guys. There's no denying this. He's been taken down. Jack Hermansson's not a shitty guy. Twice him. Phil Hawes also wrestled in college, junior college national champion. But Leonardo Staropoli took him down 3 times. Trevin Giles took him down once. John Allen took him down once. You watch back all 6 times he's been taken down in his career, he don't stay down very long. He gets up almost immediately. None of these guys racked up a minute of control time on him, despite getting a few takedowns. So don't be fooled. And the thing with Fluffy is that pretty well everybody he takes down actually does get back up. Like that Michel Pereira fight, 10 takedowns, right? It's 10 takedowns on 29 attempts. He was 1 for 10 against him in the first round. So I'm fully expecting Dolidze to brick wall this guy a few times, get taken down, get back up. Dolidze fights best inside the pocket because he really just throws hammers from the hip side. Hands are low, anticipating you to come in, and then just tries to smash you. He's short on knockouts lately. The Kevin Holland's a TKO win, but it's a rib injury. But like the last time he's knocked anybody out, probably almost close to 3 years now. But that's not saying he doesn't got some big power. He fought 5 rounds against Nasruddin Imavov. His gas tank was awful. The last fight, he fought 5 rounds again in the rematch against Vettori, and it held up quite well. Lands 141 significant strikes and is able to go that distance. So I think he's going to give Fluffy a lot of problems. And just like last time out, Brandon Allen won the first round against Fluffy. Fluffy's cardio is just so goddamn good. It takes over. That's why I'm saying the live bet is probably the best go. And if for whatever reason Dolidze stiffs him in 1 round, well, you don't got to worry about it. And if Dolidze stiffs him and it's like, oh my God, I don't really actually like Fluffy in this spot, well, then you don't have to bet it. But if he survives that first round and this thing starts to get deeper and you can get a better price tag, I actually do think eventually it's going to be sticky early. Eventually, Anthony Hernandez is going to come on through. So yeah, I do got him. I don't love the price, but 5 rounds is built for a 3-round fight at this price. I'm taking the dog. I actually am. 5-round fight. That's enough for me to go Fluffy's way. So I got Hernandez to get the win.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at the pre-flop prices here, it's like it's dog or pass. I think it's Dolidze. He's shown more in the striking. Like the biggest he absolutely crushed me against Vettori, and there's nothing I could really say about it except for the fact that like I really underestimated what Dolidze had to offer on the feet, man. His stand-up game has really come a long way. Like I wouldn't even get too caught up looking back at these fights from 4 years ago, because I think he's really made some crazy improvements. Fluffy is a guy who's like, I pretty much backed him the majority of his fights, at least. Did not back my boy Michel Pereira in that fight because I thought that he would gas eventually, especially over the course of 5 rounds, and he did. Never been a Brandon Allen guy, so I was on Fluffy. So it's like I've been on the Fluffy train for a lot. I feel like the market's kind of overcooked on this guy at this point, though. He is a little bit soft to the body. The stand-up game is definitely questionable. And if Roman's grappling and cardio is improved. Now, in fairness, that fight against Marvin Vettori, it's like his grappling wasn't really tested. What's going to make you more tired is grappling. If you can just kickbox for 5 rounds, it's going to be a lot easier, maintaining that gas tank. But at this price, it's like I just can't get to Fluffy at -330. So it's dog or pass for me. I haven't clicked the button. At this point in the week, a lot of the times it's just like these markets kind of get set, and then there's a big reset after weigh-ins, or sometimes even as on like Saturday morning is where you get like the actual big moves and stuff these days. So
I feel like
I'm not rushing to the window to play Dolidze plus 270, because for all I know, the markets go crazy these days. You'd be plus 300 on Saturday, and I'll make more money that way. But Dolidze is the pick for me. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I feel like it might go his way, especially after weigh-ins, considering I do expect him to look good on the scales, and he's a big guy. It seems like he's a popular enough dog play this week. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's 37, he's too old, don't bet him. Paul mentioned he's in his best shape now. I fully agree. Roman Dolidze now is by far his top level. But last thing I will say is that it's recency bias, maybe. He landed 141 against Marvin Vettori, right? But it's Marvin Vettori over 5 rounds. Now, Marvin Vettori got landed on 122 times by Jack Hermanson, 163 times by Paulo Costa, 241 times by Jared Cannonier, the 140 against Roman Dolidze, and then Brandon Allen in a 3-round fight just landed 111 on him. So everybody that fights Marvin, especially in a 5-round fight, yeah, you're going to put up huge numbers on Marvin Vettori, and that looks good. Fluffy's not going to stand in front of you with his shorts on backwards, slugging away all night. So, yeah, we'll see. It's a fun fight either way, but it seems like we're on the different sides, and I can't fault you. The value is definitely Dolidzes. I just feel like in the long run, Fluffy wins, and that's why I'm looking at the live betting market too.
We got Steve Erceg taking on Ode Osbourne. Erceg, I believe, oh no, he's not the biggest favorite, but he's getting there. He may close as the biggest favorite, minus 600. The comeback on Ode Osbourne, who's coming in on short notice, is plus 425 at the time of this recording. Who you got?
Okay, so I'll be honest with you. Like, where the narrative here is that O'Day's on short notice, which he is 100%. And this fight, which otherwise would have been a flyweight fight, is now moved to a bantamweight fight for the simple fact that Ode Osbourne's coming in on short notice. And when we expect him to be not in great shape, considering they had to move it up a weight class essentially for him. So if he's not in good shape, yeah, Erceg's a top level guy, man. Like, I understand he's on a 3-fight losing streak and visually it looks bad, but he's fighting the creme de la creme guys within the division. He's big for the weight class. He's ready to go. He's got good volume, stiff, strong, sturdy guy. Hasn't wrestled in a while. Like in his UFC debut, he took down David Dvorak 3 times. Guy's big. Guy can take you down. Guy can grapple as well. But since then, it's like he mostly just wants to sprawl and brawl, keep this fight standing. His last fight against Brandon Moreno, it's like a tad bit puzzling. He's tries to be very elusive. Like he was using his footwork. He was darting in and out. He was moving side to side, trying to get Brandon Moreno to come to him. And although it was actually a pretty close and competitive fight, and by the numbers, he outstruck Moreno. He like really wasn't sitting down on anything. This is kind of what makes me nervous about this fight, Paul. Let's say it was a flyweight fight. It is minus 600 Steve Erceg. Well, I don't really feel good about minus 600 anybody in a flyweight fight because I do expect them to be competitive. Beyond that is that Ode Osbourne's got a 5-inch reach advantage, I believe, on Steve Erceg. Yeah, 5-inch reach advantage. He's an inch shorter, but he's got a 5-inch reach advantage. He's the first southpaw that Steve Erceg has fought in the UFC. At this point, every guy he's fought is orthodox. And Ode's got the long weaponry, straight left, down the middle, nice little body kicks. At his best, he's faster than Steve Erceg. He's got better footwork than Steve Erceg. And he could just maybe keep Steve on the end. If Steve decides to fight like Brandon Moreno, one, he didn't really land the eye-catching shots in that fight. Seemed like he was kind of getting outworked, even though he was landing more. The bigger shots were coming Moreno's way, and he was running away. If he uses that same plan, well, visually it doesn't look good, and he's a minus 600. If he decides to just dog him and come forward the whole time, well, maybe an in-shape Ode Osbourne would be able to evade him and just play Matador a little bit. Ode also, when you look at him, it's like, oh, well, he just snapped a 3-fight losing streak. That Ronaldo Rodriguez, the first, 3 minutes of the fight, he's killing him. Just drops him with a beautiful check right hook, gets on top, grabs a triangle choke. Triangle don't work. Second round, he snatches up a really tight guillotine choke. I'm not suggesting he's going to sub Steve Erceg. I'm suggesting if he's going for submissions and he's landing that straight left and he's got a bit of a speed advantage, he has more than enough power to hurt Erceg, who's not that he's got durability issues, just his style is usually stand in front of you for the most part. And that leads to you exchanging shots. And I think Ode Osbourne's got more than enough power to hurt him. It makes him a bit of a tricky fighter. Now, if he's coming in short notice, not in shape, UFC calls and says, we need a co-main event for this card in Vegas, and we'll bump up your regular pay. We'll re-sign your contract. You're still 1-3 in your last 4 fights. You're doing them a favor by stepping up. You're not quite ready. Yeah, Erceg's going to win this fight all day long, but I just don't really know. So I want to see the scales. I still think Erceg wins. Erceg's going to be the pick, but minus 600 is a walk in the park. And I think that Ode Osbourne is a different, tricky type of style fighter that Erceg hasn't really necessarily have to deal with lately. The straight left down the middle is going to give him some problems. That speed's going to give him some problems. But because he's on short notice, that's all going to diminish by the second and third round. And Steve's going to take over and get the win. So Erceg for me, but I don't love it from that minus 600 standpoint.
Yeah, I don't love many minus 600s. I mean, I don't really have too much to add to what you said. Like Ode, I have a lot of the same thoughts. It's like Ode has the power potential to cause some sort of problems. If I was gonna play that type of game, though, it would probably be like an Ode KO type of prop. I know he did throw up the submission attempt, but the cleaner, better, more technical fighter is Erceg. I expect Erceg to win. I expect him to outclass Ode, who, I mean, outside of small moments, tends to, wilt, fall apart a little bit. Maybe that'll be a little bit fixed though at 135. Who knows? Maybe he just kills himself trying to cut down to 125, and that's an issue for him.
I thought about that too. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And he's full time in Vegas. And his last fight, he's got Aljamain Sterling in his corner. It's like, if he's taking it seriously, he doesn't have to cut all this weight, and he just keeps this thing close and competitive. Lands a couple eye-catching shots, lands a couple submission attempts. They don't land, but attempts. And it's a 3-round fight in Las Vegas. Sal D'Amato, Chris Bell, and Jumiko Kimaja. I don't feel good about it, man. I don't feel good about it at all.
Well, all they need is the books to call up, say, "Hey, we got a lot of parlay reliability right now,"
which they're going to because of the size of these favorites, right? So I mean, it seems like we both got Erceg, but we can recognize that this thing could be a pie shitter of sorts potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think Erceg probably wins at least 80% of the time. So I don't think the number's too far off, like mathematically, to be perfectly honest. Like there's not enough meat on the bone there for Osbourne on the money line for me. KO prop best is 1092 right now, but it's early in the week. Maybe I take a small shot on Ode KO later in the week, but we'll see about that. We always do our prop show on Fridays after the weigh-ins, so we'll see where I'm at with that. Erceg is the pick. I don't see enough value for the situation to get off the odds. Yeah, I mean, he's been fighting the creme de la the top of the food chain, 125 pounds, and Kai Kara-France's the hardest hitter in the division. He knocked his head off, but was one mistake away from defeating the long-tenured champion in Pantoja, competitive with Brandon Moreno. I mean, Ode's been fighting bottom of the barrel, and like I was on him against Ronaldo, or whatever the hell that the Mexican guy's name was on. What was that? That was the Noche UFC card, and I thought that Ode should have got the decision there, but either way, it's just like started hot and then just couldn't keep that pace. Erceg's going to make him keep that pace. So I feel like Ode is going to have to get some sort of flash finish to get the job done if he's going to get the job done. But Erceg is a pick for me. We got Iasmin Lucindo taking on Angela Hill. Lucindo, a -200 favorite to come back on Hill, about plus 170. I'm not going to waste too much time for you guys on this fight. Angela Hill's just in close fights pretty much all the time. She throws a lot of volume, or decent enough volume. She could probably get her wrestling exploited a little bit here. Lucindo has shown some signs of being able to grapple, but it's like Hill's no scrub off of her back. She's just in too many close fights that I know it's like, system bet. I haven't clicked it yet because maybe it gets a little bit bigger. A lot of times when we do this show on Tuesday, it's just like there's not much point in firing the bet in because like this 175 could be plus 190, and that's a big difference. When it all is said and done at the end of the year, those types of things add up. But Angela Hill dog money is almost kind of like a system play because she kind of fights the level of her competition every single fight. They're very, very close. They kind of end up being coin flippy. And are the judges going to give it to her? That is the big question. I saw like the split decision prop on this was like plus 275. And I was just like, all right, I've stopped doing a bunch of these split decision props because like they are way too short. They're not nearly generous enough on those things. But it's dog or pass for me. Angela Hill, dog money. It's probably a little bit of a trappy type of bet, but isn't every single time Angela Hill's an underdog kind of a trappy bet? And it probably comes through 45% of the time. So Hill for me, you?
Yeah, I'm actually on Angela Hill as well. I mean, you can tell that she's slowing down her last fight. The speed's there in the first round. The second round, you're starting to see her fade a lot more. Body language isn't as good as it used to be. Volume, although still very high, starting to wean. But yeah, at 40 years old, she's still got it. She's an alien of sorts. And of course, her grandparents are Barney and Betty Hill. If you don't know, give that a Google sometime and check it out. In terms of what Paul's saying is, yeah, he's right. If you can ever get her at plus money, she's in these really close fights where the judges got to lean one way or another. A lot of the time, although she can't finish, a lot of the time it's going to go to decision. Whenever she's plus money, the chances of this thing making it to decision are fairly high, even if she loses. And a lot of these split decisions. So against Lucindo, who's typically a little bit lower volume and has seemingly been completely reliant on her takedown game. Like, if she can't take you down, I'm not really seeing a whole lot more of her than someone who's high output like Angela Hill can, in theory, just rack up a whole bunch of numbers. But beyond that is get some takedowns. And I know what people are saying, well, Angela Hill, she's almost 41. She's coming up on 41. She's taking on this young 23-year-old Brazilian opponent. Look at Angela Hill's last 5 fights. Mackenzie Dern, Denise Gomez, Luana Pinheiro, Tabitha Ricci, Ketlin Souza. This is her 6th straight Brazilian opponent, and she's 3-2 so far against them. I think she's fine in these positions and just going out there, mixing in a few takedowns of her own. Her last time out against Ketlin Souza, on the feet, the first round, it's hers all day. The second and the third round, it's like Ketlin Souza's starting to dog her, so being able to mix in takedowns is a big help. She also mixed in 2 takedowns against Luana Pinheiro, got the submission, took down Denise Gomez 5 times. When you look at Iasmin Lucindo, she's been fighting far lesser of competition, but that last fight against Amanda Lemos especially, she landed 4 significant strikes over the course of 15 minutes. The first round, she shoots a takedown. Lemos reverses her, ends up on top. She can't get back up. The second round, she shoots a takedown. Lemos reverses her, ends up on top. She can't get back up. In the third round, she comes out hot and then actually does take Lemos down for about a minute and a half. And then Lemos sweeps, reverses, ends up back on top, rides out the rest of the round. So Angela Hill could easily just mix in a few takedowns and hold her down. And then if it is standing, just try to double her up, triple her up. By the second and the third round, this thing will start to get greasy because you've got a 40-year-old taking on a 23-year-old. Lucindo's not really shown cardio issues. She's going to be a problem. Is that we need to bank those first early 2 rounds with volume and takedowns, survive the third. Lucindo's 17-6, right? That's a lot of fights for a 23-year-old fighter. Like, she's had a lot of pro experience. 4 of those 6 losses came between the ages of 15 and 17 years old. Tapology says she made her pro debut at 15 years old. So no doubt she's been around, but yeah, there's holes to be exploited there. Namely, keep this fight standing if you can stuff her takedowns or mix in a few against her, reverse position, end up on top. I feel like Hill's capable of doing that. So for dog money, listen, it's CF model for me. I got Angela Hill as well.
All right, moving on down, we've got Christian Rodriguez taking on Andre Touchy Fili. Rodriguez minus 235 favorite to come back on Fili plus 200. After the stunt against Mel Costa, I don't know. I don't know if I can trust Andre Fili with my hard-earned money anymore. Just kind of lackadaisical in that situation. Kind of just, it's for a guy with that much experience, just maybe going through the motions. I don't know. I like the guy. We met him in Vegas. Really, really super cool guy. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth at this point. Power has never really been the name of the game, but I think not having that power and starting to lose speed, athleticism, everything like that, it's tough for me to back him. Christian Rodriguez, even though he seems like he's been around for quite a long time at this point, still only 27 years old. I feel like he probably better than Fili in every department at this point. C-Rod's the pick for me. What about you?
So I got C-Rod as well because a lot of the same things, which is just narrative. I feel like Fili's kind of on the back 9. Not only is he a little bit slower, he's just a little more disinterested. Like, his dog passed away. Mentally, that affected him. He's had a long career in the UFC. He's had some injuries, which have obviously affected him. He seemingly is fighting, twice a year. I don't think that he's going to go out there and put on a career best performance. And against Christian Rodriguez, not saying he's going to need a career best performance, but you're going to need one hell of a performance to get this win. And I don't know if he's really willing to put it out there. The thing for me and why this thing feels trappy at first glance is that Christian Rodriguez is my prospect killer. This guy just goes out there and he beats underdeveloped prospects. When he fought Raul Rosas Jr., he's just a little kid, right? So he beats him. Cameron Smotherman had 2 fights in the UFC. Isaac Dalgarian, it was his second fight in the UFC. Austin Bashi was his UFC debut. When he takes on guys with a little more experience, like Melt Costa or Julian Eroso, or even his loss to JSP Jonathan Pierce, that's when he can't just rely on stuffing a few takedowns and landing 50 significant strikes. His volume's not super high. It's mostly he's good at stuffing takedowns. He's good at working his way back up. And against these one-dimensional wrestlers, and I love Bashy and I love Bulgarian, but they don't have a plan B. It's just wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. When they're forced to strike a little bit, they can't. Against a guy like Erosa, well, Erosa can wrestle a little bit, but he can strike. Against Melt Costa, he's all of a sudden relying on his own wrestling to take down Melt Costa 6 times. And what's Milk doing? Getting back up and putting the numbers back on him, putting those kicks on him, putting those, those combinations on him. Kind of the same thing he's been doing to other guys. So I don't think Christian Rodriguez is the end-all, be-all. Again, when he beat Raul Rosas and those guys, he's down at 135 and missing weight. Him at 145 now, he doesn't have that same sting on his shots. He's not a high-volume guy. His offensive wrestling, although not bad, Milk Costa gave him a lot of problems. I'm not super sold on him as a 2-1 favorite over guys that are tenured in the division, and are really not all that bad. But so why do I end up with him? Why do I end up? Well, I'll tell you. This is a little harsh on Fili, but this is just the way it is. So Fili lost against Mil Costa his last time out. Before that, he won a split decision over Cub, which was a real close fight, man. It really could have gone either way. Before that, he loses to Dan Ige. Had the split gone against him against Cub, which it could have, that puts him on a 3-fight losing streak against Ige. He beat Lucas Almeida clean. He lost to Nathaniel Wood. His win over Bill Algeo, it's another split decision. And I get it. I scored the fight for him. But by the numbers, it's like he got outstruck, I think, 81-59 against Bill Algeo in that fight. And it's a split decision. His win over Charles Jourdain is a split decision. Like 3 of his last 4 wins are by split decision. And then for the rest of them, he's got 6 losses.
Fights.
Yeah, I know.
He's been a 50-50 guy, kind of.
It's been a 50-50 guy. Over his last 10 fights, he's got 4 wins and 6 losses. 3 of those 4 wins are split decisions. So with a different set of judges and a different set of circumstances, he could be 1-9 over his last 10 fights. And he's 35 years old now. So yeah, I find it hard. Give me 3-1, 4-1 on Andre Fili kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe I could be talked into it, but at this price, it just feels like Christian Rodriguez is probably going to... If Fili shoots those takedowns, I feel like Rodriguez is getting back up or just outright stuffing them. If this fight stays standing, although Fili's, tricky in his own way, just look back to that last fight with Milk Costa, where it's like he's getting outstruck 27-7 on the feet at the time of the finish. Eventually just gets sick of it, shoots a takedown. The takedown's not... He doesn't shoot into the takedown. The fight hits the ground. Milk is in half guard. From half guard, he grabs the neck, reaches up, grabs the neck, tightens his hands, and taps him out from that position. So, yeah, I don't know. There could be injuries. There could be just lack of motivation. There could be a lot of things, but not enough for me to back him as an underdog.
No, me neither. Because there's other dogs that I will discuss as the card goes on. But maybe not in this next one. We got John Matsumoto taking on Miles Johns, minus 300. For Matsumoto, the comeback on Johns, plus 250. Matsumoto seems a little bit green, a little bit inexperienced, everything like that, but he throws some pretty good volume, and I faded him against
Rob Font.
Against Rob Font last time out. And it's because I didn't think his wrestling was optimal, wasn't good enough, essentially, to get the job done in that fight. And the thing about Miles Johns is, like, I kind of think that both of these guys wrestling will probably negate each other. And then what does it really come down to is, like, who throws more strikes, who throws more damaging strikes. And, 5.18 strikes landed per minute for Jean, 3.16. The volume has just never really been there for Miles Johns. He is pretty hard to hit. He's only absorbing 2.65 per fight, but, like, John is going to be in your face throwing shots. I just don't know if over the course of 15 minutes, if Miles Johns can kind of keep pace there. There's other dogs that I like over the course of this card, but Miles Johns is not one of them. Pick for me is John Matsumoto. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Miles John, I almost feel like someone got in his ear and was like, "Hey man, winning against with standing cage control and the odd takedown isn't the way to go. Like people think you're boring and you need to open up." And now he's not really fighting what he's best at, which is standing cage control, holding guys up against the cage and maybe fishing a few takedowns. And he's like instead trying to trade with them in the open field where, as Paul mentioned, he's low volume, right? He's not a one-hitter quitter kind of guy where he's got enough power to get away with throwing 10 significant strikes or landing 10 significant strikes per round. You really got to up the volume or mix in some takedowns. Now, he's been wrestling since he's 3 years old. He's a former state champion in Kansas for wrestling in high school. He attended a D2 program for a couple months before bailing out and pursuing MMA. He can wrestle, but honestly, I just in my mind, anyways, he fights a couple guys. He's win loss kind of thing. He fights Dan Argueta. In the Dan Argueta fight, he looked real good. His cardio vastly improved. His physicality vastly improved. His wrestling was good. His grappling was good. That was the best version I ever seen from him. And then he tests positive for Turinabol. yeah. And they make it a no contest. His next fight against Cody Gibson, he's coming off this suspension. Obviously, the UFC is not super happy about it, but all the same, hey, people get caught. They give him a nice little return fight against Cody Gibson, and it's a stinker. He gets 2 takedowns. He lands 25 significant strikes over 15 minutes, 2 takedowns, a lot of standing cage control. At that point is when I think someone was like, "You're gonna get cut. You don't have a long leash here, considering the steroid no contest." Then you pitch an absolute dud against Cody Gibson, who, for all of Cody Gibson's faults, he's never been in a bad fight before. The guy's an absolute entertainer, and this was a bad fight. After that, he shot 0 takedown against Douglas D'Andrade. He shot 1 half-hearted takedown against Felipe Lima. He's just choosing to stand now. And if you're not going to use the one thing that can possibly score you some rounds and get you some wins, I don't really know that I'm in on the Johns thing. John Matsumoto, meanwhile, he's 6 years younger, right? 25 versus 31. But he was 16-0 prior to the Rob Font fight. Rob Font's fought half of the best guys in the division. He's a tenured vet, very tricky, quite literally been at the highest level for a long time and operating against some of the best guys and giving a good account of himself. Against him, it's like you're 16-0, you're 25 years old. Like losing is going to be a good thing. And for the record, he won the first round on all 3 judges' scorecards. The second round, he went 5 for 5 on takedowns against Rob Font. He just couldn't hold him down. And when Font got back up, Font dogged his ass. By the third round, Font gave him that vet lesson. It's a split decision. Maybe could have gone his way. I don't think so. I thought Font won fair and square. When the judges agreed, they gave it to him. But all the same, now you get to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, what went wrong the first couple fights? Well, on the Contender Series against Casey Tanner, he took you down twice. Against Dan Argueta, but right before you snatched up that guillotine, you're probably about to be down 0-2 to Dan Argueta, and he took you down 9 times. Against Brad Katona from Winnipeg, Canada, training at SPG Ireland, he took you down 3 times. So against Rob Font, I think he showed a new element to his game that obviously, yeah, he's been working on his own grappling. He's been working on his own wrestling. He still landed 77 significant strikes, which is more than Miles Johns ever put up. I think he's got more volume, enough wrestling to keep this thing where he needs it. Fading against Font would now make you think, I got to put more time into my cardio. He's not fought since February, so it's been a while. Well, not a while, but it's been long enough to correct a lot of mistakes. And he's 25 years old. So I think we're going to see a better version of him this time around. And the version we last saw against Font still probably beats Johns. A better version of him beats Johns. Now Johns, meanwhile, I don't know what his approach would be. Does he want to go back to his wrestling?
Probably going to want to wrestle.
I would think so, but he just hasn't been doing it lately. And when we talked about earlier about Angela Hill's been fighting all these Brazilians, it's like Douglas D'Andrade, Felipe Lima, Jean Matsumoto. Like he's running into the same mold, and he hasn't been shooting takedowns against these other guys. I don't know where he's at. Weigh-ins will be important, but without the Turinabol, I can't back him. On the Turinabol, I don't mind this line, but yeah, you pissed hot once, you're probably not looking to do it again. Got to fight clean, and clean Johns just ain't it for me.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be much to be seen on the weigh-ins there, but basically around the same size, to be perfectly honest. Let's move on. We got Christian Leroy Duncan, minus 550, taking on Eryk Anders. We have for about plus 400, plus 429 is the best that I see on market right now. Where are you at with this one, buddy?
Yeah, what's best on market price? Not saying this is a lock guarantee, but like, what's the best on market price for a Christian Leroy Duncan KO? Like, could you get anything nice on that, or it's pretty
A
well
little bit early in the week, I would
a little
say,
earlier in the
probably
week?
for that. Best right now is like plus 200.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I understand that this is going to go one of two ways. Christian Leroy Duncan's either going to look like $1 million and blast him and knock him out, or at the very least, just win these striking exchanges, keep the fight standing, have a little more in the tank. He's faster at this stage, a little more athletic. Anders is a former D1 national champion football player, but he's 38 years old. So when I say athletic, take it with a grain of salt here. I think he could make this look easy. On the flip side to that is that he struggles against guys that are only looking to take him down and hold him up against the cage. And whereas a guy like Miles John, someone's got in his ear, I don't think that's the case to Eryk Anders. That's what he does. He leans on guys up against the cage and tries to take them down. To me, though, it's like Chris Weidman knocked him down in the first round and had him in a bunch of trouble. And then old man Weidman faded away. His fight right before that, Jamie Pickett knocked him down in the first round. But then, Jamie Pickett's just like god awful. And most people put Pickett away. Dennis Tulin put Pickett away.
Did Pickett ever finish? I guess he probably had a couple knockouts, didn't he?
I'm sure in his career.
In the UFC, he knocked out Jonathan Patty. I forgot.
Well, that was on the Contender Series, and it was his
that.
third time on
I
the
forgot
Contender
that person
Series.
existed, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's rough.
And then
is that his only? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, do your thing. We want to talk Jamie Pickett. I'd be down to talk Jamie Pickett all day long. But I think he's got
that was
some
his
knockout
only
wins on the
actual
regional.
official UFC knockdown. Tough scene. That's
Well, it wasn't in the UFC. It was on the Contender Series.
No, I mean like the Anders one, like in terms of outside of Contender Series.
Oh,
it was the only time Pickett actually got a knockdown was against Anders. Woof.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the fight right before that, Marc-Andre Barriault also knocked him down in the first round. All three guys dropped Anders in the first, but otherwise did not put him away.
No.
If you look back at the Khalil Roundtree fight, Khalil Roundtree put him down 4 times, but did not put him away. Thiago Santos put on one of the most savage beatings you'll ever see a human being put on another human being, and they just stopped the fight after 3 rounds. It was a 5-round fight, that's why. But he can take a lot of damage. But at 38, he's given up first-round knockdowns in his last 3 fights. His volume's very low. He's not knocked. I knocked out Weidman, don't get me wrong. But prior to that, I guess he knocked out Douglas. I just don't see him as a huge power puncher. He's a low-volume guy. He's been slowing down. He's got the ability to lean on guys and grind on them. And when you watch Christian Leroy Duncan versus Gregory Robocop Rodriguez steals his soul up against the cage, man. This guy's got nowhere to go and no idea what to do. If Anders can replicate that, it's going to be a problem. But RoboCop's also in his earlier 30s. I think he's 5-6 years younger than Eryk Anders. He's also quite a bit bigger. He's a giant human being, and he's a BJJ black belt. So I feel like that is the kind of thing that he can do against Christian Leroy Duncan, who, by the way, CLD just doesn't got a whole lot of experience when you consider he comes from a traditional martial arts background. He's only got 13 pro fights. This is now going to be his 6th fight in the UFC. This is the 7th fight in the UFC. I do expect this guy to show some improvements. His last time out against Andre Pulaev, a lot of standing cage control of his own. Did look terrible in the clinch, pummeling, keeping his opponents up pinned up. Cardio looked good, put up some good volume in that fight. Against Claudio Ribeiro, his counters were on point. His footwork is on point. Claudio couldn't track him down. Against Dennis Tulin, Dennis is a bum, but of course he made him look like a bum, which is what you're supposed to do against that level. I think he's improving. They've not given him the easiest run. Anders isn't the easiest fight, but you should be able to just use that speed, that movement, keep him off of you, outpoint him at the very least. And then what I'm thinking is, Anders has been dropped 3 times in the last 3 fights, all in the first round. I feel like CLD's is live to just crank him with something over the top, elbow, kick up the middles, just make something happen. If you want to chase a first-round knockout, props, well, I see that too. But, the price isn't released yet, so I kind of got to see what that's at before I could give you a confirmed answer. So tune in to the Fry and Weigh-In show, where we'll talk about props, weigh-in results, and maybe we'll go from there.
Yeah, wow. Anders is an 87, eh? Wow. I'm an 85. So that puts things into perspective. Tim Andercust is an 87. But he acts like he's like an 80-year-old man, like an 87-year-old man, not a 38-year-old man. It's not a young man's game. It's a young man's game in a lot of ways, and I feel like you kind of bring up some good points about wasn't really considering CLD, and maybe for you it's not long enough, but like plus 200 and nobody's really touching it. That's maybe a prop that I consider as the week goes along. I really don't like the money line. I understand that, CLD extended Pulayev last fight, but like it wasn't particularly competitive. He made it look pretty easy out there. And yeah, Anders getting knocked down by these guys is kind of showing you that the writing is maybe on the wall at this point. Somebody eventually, whether it's CLD or the next person, somebody's sending them to the shadow realm. And yeah, Weidman way over the hill.
Weidman knocked him down. It was crazy.
Pickett, only actual official UFC knockdown of his entire career. And Mark Power Bar, love him, absolute, warrior, but never been touted as being a heavy hitter by any stretch of the imagination. CLD by knockout. That may make my card this week, to be perfectly honest. Plus 200 when you've got like a minus 600 favorite. I think you could do worse. We got Julius Walker taking on Rafael Cerqueira. Another big favorite here in Julius, who's like minus 600, minus 650-ish around the market. Plus 450, plus 500. The comeback on Cerqueira, who is like probably, came in with like one of those fake Brazilian padded records and has kind of shown himself to be perhaps the worst fighter on the UFC roster. They must like Julius Walker, and shouts to Trent Millsap from the Discord, who's buddies with him. I was kind of joking. I was just like, when this line opened at minus 250, and then like within a very short period of time, I asked Trent if he was the one who moved this.
If he was in on the action.
He just laughed, but I don't think he actually did move it. But they must like him because, I mean, Julius, credit where credit's due. Went in there with Menafield, and Menafield's not some world beater, not some top of the food chain guy, but it's like it's a pretty damn tough UFC debut to be making against somebody with that much experience at this type of level. And he hung in there. The cardio kind of fell off, but he took that fight, I believe, on short notice. This is kind of like a, hey, thanks for helping us out.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this Brazilian who showed up in the organization with a real padded, pretty-looking record. And just get Modestus. Ebo, it's been all downhill for Ebo Aslan since that first round knockout, hasn't it? Like we talk about padded Brazilian records, and we break down like LFA Brazil and stuff, and like sometimes you see them and you're like, oh, this guy's like 14-0, and you're like, he's awful. Sometimes you see them and like they've actually, when they fight in LFA Brazil, they have some hard fights, but Cerqueira came in with a very, very padded 11-0 Brazilian record, and doesn't look like he can take a punch. So it feels uncomfortable backing Walker at minus 600, but I'm not. I don't know what number would be possible for me to even consider Rafael Cerqueira, because I don't think this guy has any durability in him. And if nothing else, Walker showed us like he went the distance with a very, very long tenured, hard hitting, tough, experienced opponent in his debut. He should roll here, Walker, for me. You?
Yeah, I completely agree. If you're the UFC, you're like, hey, we got this Julius Walker who was 6-0, right? And the UFC, they understand promotions, they understand marketing, they understand that the undefeated record is important to a certain extent, and they like it. So the he's not 15-0, 16-0, it's time to fight a big boy. He's 6-0, and they put him in there against a real tough fight in Alonzo Menafield. At 26 years old, former college basketball player, very athletic, 6'4", the 78-inch reach. Got a winning mentality, good looking kid, good on the microphone. It's like, this is someone you can build. Throwing him in there against Alonzo Menafield is very counterintuitive to that. So I feel like this is that exact bounce back where it's like, hey, man, we understand that you're a good prospect. You went out there against Alonzo Menafield, arguably won the first 2 rounds. One judge thought you did. It was a split decision. This guy's got 20 fights with the organization. He's fought a lot of the top guys. This is a very tough spot, man. And you went out there and you gave a great account of yourself. Started to tire as it went on, as Paul mentioned, but he's on short notice. It's his UFC debut. It's his 7th pro fight. And all of a sudden you're at this level. So this is a total, hey, man, thanks. We're going to give you a bounce back here. And Rafael Cerqueira, he's in really no position to say yes or no to any fight. He's 35 years old. He never earned his way to the UFC. All of his wins in the regional scene, fairly salty, but they're fast. They're first round knockouts, maybe early into the second round. He's just smashing everybody for the most part. They booked him on the Contender Series to get smashed against Uroš Salty Baldiev, and the fight gets canceled. Then they book him against Patrick Grabowski, who ended up going 1-2 after that. Terrible, absolutely terrible. Grabowski pulls out. Then they booked him against Francisco Mazio, who ended up fighting Kevin Christian, I think, getting triangle armbarred in the second round. They booked him against like the shittiest Contender Series guys, and none of those fights happened. And then all of a sudden they were just like, we need a guy on short notice. Don't fight in the Contender Series. Don't earn your way in front of Dana White. Don't beat somebody with a pulse. Just come right in against Ebo. Paul mentioned Ebo smashes him in 50 seconds. Ebo's not been really good that late, all that lately. But hey, it's the punchy kicky game. You know, sometimes you get caught. Yeah, sometimes you just get caught. Things happen. Against Modestas Pakauskas, it's much of the same. Like this guy's, again, at 35, he's not making improvements. He's not a dynamic athlete. I'm sure he's got a bit of pop in his shots, but not compared to Alonzo Menafield. He's just, this is, you go from fighting a guy in Alonzo who, just to be certain on this, right? Alonzo has 16 fights in the UFC. He's beaten Umar C. He fought Asmat Mirzakhanov. He's fought Carlos Olberg. He's got a win over Dustin Jacoby. He's got a win and a draw over Jimmy Crute. He's knocked out Misha Cherkinov. He's fought Ed Herman, who doesn't count. He fought. No, I didn't. That's why I didn't mention it. That's why I didn't mention it, Paul. I didn't mention it. Didn't even happen. OSP is a former title challenger. Obviously, he fought him. He's got a win over Paul Craig, who's a tenured guy. Like that's a tough. And you go from that to fighting Cerqueira, who, puncher's chance. Everyone's got it, but I feel like Julius really puts it on him, and the UFC understands fully. We've seen guys like Martin Budai 6-1 in the UFC cut. We've seen guys, talented prospects. Maybe look at TJ Laramie. He goes 0-2 in the UFC, gets cut. We've seen guys with like way less. This guy's gotten knocked out in 50 seconds, and then Modestas soundly takes him out in that fight. He's 35. He's fought twice in the last 2 years. Why would you even carry this guy in the roster still, in case we need some to give someone a favor? We need a few of these favor guys here and there. This is one of them, and we're giving him to Julius Walker, so I'm on board here.
We got Elijah Smith taking on Toshiomi Kazama -700 for Smith. The comeback on Kazama +500. Who you got here?
Yeah, so this is another fight I expect to roll. Like I think we make this like look money. The thing is that the line at -700. There's going to be a little bit of like inadvertent risk on this one. So when you look at Koji Kazama, Toshiomi, Kazama, right? His second pro loss against Shoji Ato, flying knee, 6 seconds into the second round, dropped. You look at his little run on road to the UFC, he'd given up knockdowns in pretty much all of them. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. So Rinny Nakamura, UFC debut, knocked him down twice. Garrett Armfield, second fight in the UFC, knocks him down. Both those guys knocked him out first round. And then Sharmbalos Grigoriou, his last time out, knocked him down in the first round, hurt him early, and then just, a very limited fighter. When Kazama loses, you just hit the button and this guy will fall right over. Problem is that when that doesn't happen, he's got a wily submission game. He's like an advanced black belt, triangles, leg locks, arm bars, constantly throwing stuff up. He is coming a win over in his last fight over Grigoriou, who again's not good, but it's a real sneaky triangle setup. Pretty well all of his wins prior to that, prior to coming to the UFC. Ueda, first round triangle choke. Mayabi, first round armbar. Kosaka, first round armbar. Ryoji Tajima, first round heel hook in 50 seconds. Takazuchi, second round ground and pound. First round punches from twister position, 3 minutes into the round. First round armbar. That's kind of his win condition. Now, I think the world of Elijah Smith. His dad, Gilbert Smith, Ultimate Fighter veteran, Bellator veteran.
Nice game plan for him.
Always gonna have a good. This kid wrestled. He's a lot more athletic than his old man was. He's just that modern age MMA. His dad's obviously doing a great job of keeping with him. The kid's cardio. He's young and he kind of muscles around some of these takedowns a little bit more than using that pure technique. But listen, he's learning on the fly as well. He's a young prospect who's figuring things out as he goes, and I do expect him to get better and better. Like literally, the only thing that's got me the slightest bit worried is that fight with Vince Morales. Vince snags him up in a couple of anaconda chokes that he really never sees coming. Now, he doesn't tap,
He gets out.
but the fight ends up being hella close. He wins the first round, looks good. Second round, caught in an anaconda choke, loses. Third round, he does get caught in a second anaconda choke, but he ends up getting out, getting the takedown, riding up top position, winning. Wins like that will allow a young fighter to grow and get infinitely better, and I think he will get better. He's going to have to mind his P's and Q's. But just like Vince caught him and stuff, Kazama may, in theory, catch him in some stuff. And like when you're a minus 700 favorite, I like to say, I don't know how you lose it. You're minus 700 favorite. Where do you lose? You're better than him everywhere. Well, in this instance, you're young, you're green, and you're prone to maybe putting your head in a bad spot, maybe shooting too far to the outside, maybe getting too comfortable in guard. If he's rolling for arms, necks, and legs, something might stick. And I'm minus 700. Well, I don't know, but he's still the play for me. I'm just, I've had such bad luck lately that I'm trying to figure out what could go wrong. And in this Kazama case, I would have to make a 3-ticket top leg because a guy like minus 700 and I got a minus 600 Julius Walker, a minus 700 Elijah Smith. Like, where's the value? There's nothing. And at that point, like, there's odds that one of them is going to slip up on something just like this. So he's still the play for me, but at minus 700, I really think there's no more meat on the bone. And I feel like you almost got to take Harris by TKO at this point, and that he'll avoid the submission attempts and then ground and pound this guy's ass out. And Kazama will go away if you punch him in the head. So maybe that's the way I'm improving it this week.
Yeah, it's like minus 200, which I mean makes sense based on the opponent. But also on the other side, that's like if you're gonna play Kazama, it's like I would skip the money line and just take his sub prop, which is like 10-1. How's he gonna get it done here?
Yeah, fair.
Probably by wrapping up the young inexperienced kid in a sub that he can't get out of. Smith will be the pick for me. Maybe I'll have his KO prop in some greasy parlays over the course of the week. But yeah, it's a little bit wide. I expect him to roll though. We move on. We've got Joselyne Edwards taking on the lady, the myth, the legend, Cab, Priscila Cachoeira. Minus 310 for Joselyne Edwards. Comeback on my girl. Plus 260. Cody.
I know where you're going with this.
Do you?
Well, I don't know, man. You got an eye for reliable mid-level talent, and like guys like Davy Grant. You can't get there. Okay, even at this line,
Cab can't wrestle.
I know. That's why I'm taking Edwards.
Joselyne's actually half decent at wrestling when she's not taking on, like Eileen Perez, who's a much better wrestler than her. But it's like when she has a wrestling advantage, who pretty much everybody has a wrestling advantage against Cab. I know I've got the reputation of being the guy who just bets Cab every single fight, but it's like it's getting pretty long in the tooth at this point. The wrestling's never gotten better. And then the last little crux in it that makes me so heartbroken. It's probably going to be a pass for me because, like, I don't want to make a bet and be cheering against Cab. Yeah, I want to see Cab win a fight. I just don't think I can actually put real dollars. If they get up to like plus 400, I'm only human. I will take a shot on Cab at plus 400. But I expect Joselyne Edwards to be one, longer, two, more maybe not more volume, but like be able to mix in wrestling. 3, she hasn't been Joselyne Edwards has never been knocked out, which is problematic because like Cachoeira is going to be throwing from the hip and then taken down and then flat on her back. It happens in so many different fights. It's just hard to back her in this stuff. Giving up reach. Edwards has fought as high as 145 pounds. Cachoeira fought as low as 125. Like, everything is working against my girl Priscila Cachoeira. I know CF dot model, everything like that. People just assume that Paul's going to come on this show and tell everybody to bet Priscila Cachoeira. And trust me, if I miss it, I miss it. Edwards is the pick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was my exact same thing too. Is that Cachoeira, if you want to stand with her, she's got real power for the division. I ain't gonna take that away from her. She throws gritty techniques like a elbow over the top, shuffle uppercuts, dirty box you. She got a big old chin on her, and if you want to go chin for chin, she can actually crack. It's that takedown defense. Paul mentioned it. This girl made her UFC debut against Valentina Shevchenko, but just one of the most legendary one-sided beatdowns you'll ever see. 2 takedowns given at 125. Molly McCann at 125 took her down twice, speed her up. And then we're talking Gina Mazzani took her down 4 times. Jillian Robertson's 125 took her down, who's good. Miranda Maverick is good, but 3 takedowns. Jasmine Jasudavicius, that fight was actually at 135, but Jasmine Jasudavicius, all of her other fights have been, all of her other fights in the UFC have been at 125, and I'm pretty sure she weighed in at 133 for the fight. It was just kind of like a last minute put together thing. All the same is that they've all had a lot of success taking her down at 125. At 135, it seems a little more problematic. And Paul mentioned the Joselyne Edwards has fought as high as 145. She fought Ramona Pasquale and all that. Beyond that, and this is why, maybe you want to watch the scales. I don't think it matters personally, but against Tamiris Vidal, 2 fights back, she missed weight. She came in at 139. Okay. Against Lucy Pudilova in 2023, she missed weight coming at 136.5. Against Ji Yun Kim, she missed weight coming in at 137.5. She missed weight at bantamweight 3 times. So she's not really just a 135er. She's a giant 135er. And you already touched on all these points. And Cab's coming up and she's coming down. Violence-wise, if there's a live crowd, maybe she holds her down for 4 minutes and then all of a sudden Cab gets up and just starts swanging bombs and the crowd goes nuts and you can persuade the judges. But in the Apex, it's just going to be real sad, just holding you down, doing it again, do it again. Strength, physicality, size, name of the game in this fight. I got to take Joselyne Edwards as well. CF Dot model's tempting because this is a wide number for a women's MMA fight, but I just think styles make fights and this is a great style clash for her.
I hope I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. Can't back Cap. Can't do it. Won't do it. No, maybe we'll see. We'll see. Everyone has a price, but if the books are listening, they want to get plus 400. I'll take a nibble. But I just think, honestly, I think even at minus 300 right now, there's value on Edwards, to be perfectly honest. But I can't even click the button because I feel sick. Feel sick to my stomach just even thinking about fading the GOAT. But maybe that's well, man, some people are a little bit more. I've got certain fight I've never faded John Lineker. I haven't necessarily bet him every single fight, but I don't fade my guy. Never faded Habib. Never faded Vince Pichel. I have certain fighters that it's just I don't necessarily need to bet you every single time, but I'm not fading your ass because I just emotionally can't handle, the and people will be like, oh, well, then you're emotionally. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It's like blood money. You feel sick, No, it doesn't work that way for me, at least. It's that money's not going to make me feel better. I'm going to be upset that one of my favorite fighters. What a legend. Just a horrible matchup, I think. Anybody who can wrestle, it's we need to get Cab out of the UFC and into BKFC. That's what we actually need to do because Cab would absolutely be a legend in the squared circle. I've been how they call it.
I've been watching combat sports for a long time, and I also understand men should never fight women. But Cab could actually beat a lot of the guys on the roster as well, because I watch BKFC every week. The talent is awful. Oh, my God. Listen, she could be world champion over there fighting girls. She's entertainment. She's always entertainment. This is not a great... If you're the UFC, it's just give her someone that's going to stand and bang. That's what the people want to see. Unfortunately, someone's got to draw the Edwards card, and Edwards is suffocating with her game at times. So we're in agreement.
Yeah, we got Uroš Medić taking on Gilbert Urbina. Medić, a minus 450 favorite. Come back on Urbina plus 350. Both these guys are pretty lack some durability, at the very least, I will say. Urbina does not, quote unquote, have the Mexican chin. He has been rocked, has been knocked down.
He's born in Ohio.
There's the rub. That makes sense. I knew that he wasn't actually like Mexican, but
Mexican American, so they could get hit and go down. It could have happened.
Playing Euros Medić at minus 450 just feels wrong, though. Here's how I think this just feels like unders. Unders for me, whether it's fight does it or, I don't know if that line even still exists, but if you can find an under 2.5 at minus 450, that would be parlay fodder. Minus 155 to the under 1.5. Don't hate that type of thing. I think Euros Medić is going to win, but like I just don't feel great about the idea of like a guy who's inconsistent, lacks durability, fought in Alaska FC. You always like to bring that one up to me. And then laying him to win like 80% of the time, it just seems a little bit sketch. But I suppose he's the pick, but I'd prefer unders here. What's your take?
Yeah, well, honestly, this is my classic. I feel like I'm getting pushed into the value play, maybe without not loving the value play. We do have a lot of the favorites on the card. There's a lot of big favorites on the card. If you were to examine of all the big favorites that we've spoken about, who's the most likely of those guys to shit in the apple pie? Yeah, I think it's Euros Medić, man. Like, he's 32 years old. He's Serbian by way of Alaska, by way of King's MMA in California. But yeah, listen, he's not exactly a young guy, and he's got a very, very volatile style.
Yep.
If he wins, he's going to finish you. If he loses, he's also probably going to finish you. He's had 7 fights in the UFC and 1 on the Contender Series. None of them have gone to decision. Only one of them I've seen the 3rd round, and that one was also a finish when he took out Matthew Semmelsberger. That Semmelsberger fight, he too got knocked down, came up off the canvas and got the win. Against Orleby. Orleby took him down 7 times in a round and a half. It was almost 2 full rounds. And then eventually just neck crank submission puts him away. It's more so that last fight with Puanahela Soriano. Soriano at 170, the guy's really found himself, man. So that's not the worst loss in the world, but just felt like Euros' style is to just walk straight at you. And if you've got some firepower and you can put it down the middle, his durability is really like not all that good. He's been with the UFC for a number of years now. He's pulled out of officially 4 fights due to injuries with the promotion. He's not been super active. He's 3 years older than Urbina. Urbina's not good, but he's only 29. He's been off since February. Maybe he made some improvements. On top of that, because we're just talking about why this big favorite would possibly lose. So a little bit older, volatile style. Urbina's also 2 inches taller with a 5-inch reach advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So if your plan is to just come straight at this guy and give him some straight pain, he's probably going to hit you and intercept you as you're coming in. Now, with Urbina, it's like, again, and I've said this a couple times on the show, his case, he's been a pro for 10 years. And in 10 years, he has 10 fights. He just doesn't fight enough. That being said, he went the distance with Sean Brady in his 6th pro fight for LFA. He fought on the Ultimate Fighter where he fought, Treshawn, who's still in the UFC. It shouldn't be, but is.
185 pounder.
Yeah.
189 pounder.
An 89 pounder. Brian Battle is still competing in the UFC and is kind of racking up some okay wins.
The Radke loss looks bad, though. Because Radke's a pretty undersized 170, and he knocked him down twice.
I know, and Radke is similar to Medić in the sense that really his only thing is he's going to put some straight offense on you for as long as he can before you can hopefully, intercept him and put him away. Is it possible? I don't know. I just think after that fight, he got booked in July against Mike Malott. He pulls out. They rebook him. That's in February of 2024. So he's been off for a year and a half, almost. I wouldn't say 2 years, like a year and 8 months or something. He's been away, but he's only 29. So it's not crazy to think that he's maybe made some improvements or changed his game enough so that if you're Team Medić and you're looking at tape, it's like, oh, this is the setups that he's vulnerable to. Oh, and he's got durability issues. This is how we're going to exploit that. I don't know. Maybe the guy made some improvements. Or maybe he hasn't. I don't know. It's just a tough fight to get a read on. The one thing I'm concerned about is, as I mentioned, pro for 10 years. Almost 11 years. Yeah, 11 years. 11 years as a pro, 10 pro fights. He took all of 2016 off. He took all of 2020 off. He took all of 2022 off. And he had one fight in 2023, one fight in 2024. This will be his one fight of 2025. I don't know. Is he riddled with injuries? Is he non-motivated? Why is the UFC keeping him on the roster? Is he a favor fight to Uroš Medić? I want to see the scales. If this guy looks like he's in good shape, he's motivated, he's got nothing to lose, right? He's not fought in a year and a half. He knows he's cut if he doesn't win this one. If he just goes out there, meets him in the middle, and throws down, someone's getting knocked out.
Then it's like 50, or maybe it's even 60,
Maybe it's
40.
60-40, but I still don't want to bet Medić at minus 450 is the bottom line.
Of course not. 60-40 would be minus 150 plus 150, right?
Yeah.
So the value would be, if it's a complete volatility type of fight, then yeah, the dogger pass does seem like the sane way to go about this. I don't mind the unders though. They're chalky, but
Medić is pretty reliable with those.
But like Medić is gonna come and try to knock his head off, and does he get countered? It's possible. You get kind of out of the way of a whole bunch of the nastiness of figuring out who, by just hoping for violence and small cage, everything like that. We'll wait for weigh-ins before we make any sort of clicks, though. We got Gabriella Fernandes taking on Julija Stoliarenko, minus 400 for Fernandes. The comeback on Stinko plus 300. Who you got here?
I almost feel if I don't outright have to pull the trigger on an underdog in Gilbert Urbina, then Julija again. Just as I phrased it last time, of all the big favorites on this card, and I understand she's not as big as some of the other ones, Gabriella Fernandes. You know, would she not be prone to possibly messing this thing up? It is women's MMA. It's a wide line.
Stinko's the dog.
Stenko's the dog. Exactly. And in Fernandez's case is that when she fought Jasmine Jasudavicius, she gave up the 4 takedowns, which I'm not going to fault you there. Jasmine's an absolute beast, but gave up the 4 takedowns, and that was kind of it. Against Teresa Bleda. Teresa Bleda was 6-1, very inexperienced, 23 years old, only has wrestling. Ironically enough, Teresa Bleda has never fought since that fight. Oh, gee, she might have been 21 then. Yeah, okay, she's 21 when she fought Gabriella Fernandes then. Hasn't fought since, 2 years later. But very young, very green, only had wrestling. She also racked up the 3 takedowns and controlled her. Carly Giudice, former college softball player, just wants to striking dynamo. Carly Giudice also took her down twice. Now, the Wang Kong fight, huge underdog win, looks good. Giudice, in hindsight, winning that split decision, fight of the night, in hindsight, aged real well. The Wang Kong fight, to a certain level, aged okay. Wang Kong's good. But she's getting lit up to the point where she lands that head kick, wobbles her, takes her down, gets the submission. She's not looking that good in that fight. So to say that she's a big favorite, it's like I don't really think she's a big favorite over the majority of the girls of the division, especially if there's a threat of her getting taken down. Now, Julija, you're 100% right. She's not good. I don't think from a betting standpoint I can put my hard-earned money on a girl like Julia Stoliarenko. I get it. But she's a judo black belt. She's a BJJ black belt. She's got 13 wins by armbar spread between modified bouts and grappling. Well, not even grappling. Just, again, you'd have to go to her Tapology record, but she's an armbar machine. Of course, she won her last fight against Molly McCann with the first round armbar. Her win over Jessie Rose Clark in the UFC with a first round armbar. She's got an armbar win in this KOK Heroes, but you'll start to see these mixed rules bouts, exhibitions, custom rules, flying
King
armbars.
of Kings 69 sounds legit.
Well, this Seoza first tournament battle, flying first round triangle in 38 seconds. Armbar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. 14. Okay. Point being is that, yeah, she's got a not produced in ground game. So who's to say she maybe doesn't grab something? BJJ black belt. She's also got the judo black belt. And I really think this girl's awful, sure, but all of her fights involve her usually getting at least a takedown. She took down Lua Carolina. She took down Molly McCann. She took down Chelsea Chandler, who's pretty big. She took down Jessie Rose Clark. She took down Julia Avila. What if she just trips her up and gets on top? Is Gabriella Fernandes? I don't know. I think I still got Fernandes. I can't get behind Julia Stoliarenko. Just not my kind of fighter. I really don't want to lose on something like a minus 300 Gabriella Fernandes bet when I don't think she's really all that good. Yeah, I got her. Where do I put her on the lineup this week? Not entirely sure yet, Paul.
What is like Gabriella Fernandez's like jiu-jitsu capabilities? What's her background? Does she have any sort of belt in that. I mean, here's where I will say on the other side of the spectrum, Jazz is an absolute badass who's worked her way up the rankings. Bleda, powerhouse.
True.
They were both able to take her down, have extended periods of time. I don't even see any submission attempts, right? Biggest win of her career was against Wayne Kong, where she got, the club and sub essentially. Stinko's got like one path, and it's worked against Molly Meatball McCann, who is very, very hit or miss. Molly, because of Barstool and stuff, got a whole bunch of a whole bunch of credit and stuff. Not that sounds disrespectful, but like Molly was at her best, like a 50-50 fighter. Let's be honest. Jessica Rose Clark, perpetual pie shitter, and then everything else is a whole bunch of L's. It's like, yeah, sure, she'll get that one submission attempt early if you get out of it. It's not like she's like fishing for all of these submission attempts over the course of the fight. It's like she may get one, she may get none. She doesn't get that much control time. I'm not gonna criticize anybody who take a shot on Stinko sub. I think I was one of the first people who ever said the term Stinko sub. It's probably her 90% of her path to victory in most fights. I won't be backing Stinko in this one.
And here's your little random fact. Gabriella Fernandez's MMA debut came against Iasmin Lucindo. And Fernandes was 24 years old and Lucindo was 16. Yeah, but she TKO'd it in the first round. But imagine that was your 16-year-old daughter. It's like, why would you do that?
So that just means that we have to do the Gabriella Fernandez, Angela Hill parlay. That's the way that we have to go about it.
Okay, go about it. Now that I think about it, Paul's dog is Gabriella, so he's got a soft spot. He's not going to just let a nobody like Stinky Stoliarenko come in here and take a victory.
I call her Gabby. I call her Gabby unless she's done something bad, and then if I call her Gabriella, she knows something. She's messed up.
She's a bad bitch.
Yeah, that's my bitch. All right, finally, let me just see if I'll refresh the old button here on the fight, just in case any of the lines, because this line was kind of released late. Brundage, McConico. Brundage currently like a -150 favorite to come back on McConico, plus 118. It was bouncing around pretty hard and heavy, like right before we kind of came on. Brundage opened up at plus 170. Went all the way down to favorite, then up and down. So I think what happened is like two books opened them. They opened up on two different spectrums. People were doing arbitrage, and now it's settling more into probably a range that it'll stick at. I don't know. I haven't put too much thought into this fight, to be perfectly honest, Cody. Brundage, the most annoying thing about any sort of Brundage fight, and people be like, oh, it's like kind of a joke. It's like it's not really even a joke at this point. It's like he is so good at gaming the system that like if anything happens, like he's like an MMA Karen at this point. It's just like if there was any way for him to, like his last fight there, they flipped the result on that. Did you see that?
They did, and you know what? It is the right call. But I laughed, but it is the right call.
No contest.
I know.
Draw or overturned to a draw now.
Well,
the Malkoon fight where he's getting that DQ.
Oh my god, that killed me.
The guy is an absolute the greatest of all time at gaming the system.
No contest.
He's definitely violent early, but like you look at Cody Brundage's career, and it's like even this Marquez fight, a different ref, different opportunity, different situation. Marquez ends up winning that fight because of like how much damage Cody took in that first round. It was back and forth. It was crazy. But like we've seen fights stopped for less before. And, that's just the way that it goes sometimes. It was the epitome of a coin flip fight, and Brundage got the win there. But got his ass kicked here. Bo Nickel absolutely dominated, of course. Here, he's like locked up in a triangle against Zachary Reese and then slams him.
Ass, yeah.
But like, if that doesn't work, he may actually end up getting subbed there. Malkoun was absolutely killing him. So it's just like, when's the last really legit Trishan Gore in 2022? He's been fighting a lot. He's been staying very, very active. But so many of these fights are so ugly. I'm tempted to say dog or pass. Where are you at with this one?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know me, I can't bet Cody Brundage. On the other hand, is that this line is not bad in favor of Cody Brundage, I think. Like, I was expecting McConico would be a much larger underdog, and if he was a much larger underdog, then yeah, I'm taking some Eryk McConico. But, like, at near even money, the thing you got to factor in here is that Mansour Abdul Malik is, in fact, better than Eryk McConico. He wrestled in college, he's younger, he's faster. Julian Marquez, maybe not at this point, but, you know, he's tenured. Abdul Razak Al Hassan, Judo Thunder, Judo Black Belt, big, strong power, trains at altitude now. Bo Nickel, you know, people don't like him, but you can't deny that Bo Nickel's got some skill. Zach Reese, huge guy, great ground game, nasty left body kick. Jacob Malkoun, my boy. Why is he not fighting more often, man? That guy's a grinder 101. Fluffy Hernandez is getting his main events. Where the hell is Jacob Malkoun's? Rodolfo Vieira, Nick Maximoff. This is a big step down in comparison to what he's been quitting against. So to say he's just going to quit against Eryk McConico, I'm not entirely sure. The other thing with Eryk McConico is that he's been knocked out by Dejan Kajic, didn't age well. Andre Walker, it really didn't age well. His last time out against Ruzaboev, I'm not saying that one didn't age well or not, because Ruzaboev's a big guy, but his fight against Tyler Ray 3 fights back, he almost gets knocked down in that fight too on a counter right hand.
And the Kevin Felipe decision win looking pretty rough after this past weekend where Kevin Felipe got his ass kicked by that Pasternak guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's a bad, like, that's not an impressive win.
Well, it's the same thing with Maki Pitolo. It's like, oh, I beat Maki Pitolo. It's like, well, Maki was now fighting up a weight class and was coming into that fight on a 2-fight losing streak. And everything has to be looked at for what it is. And McConico, although he's a little bit older, he's a MMA lab guy. He's nice body work, combination punching. His wrestling is really not elite. Like, offensively, he's not shooting. Defensively, he's got enough wrestling and stuff, a few takedowns here and there, but not against guys that are credited wrestlers. He's got a good reach, but otherwise he's a tad bit maybe short for the division. Like, he's not imposing. He's older. He's slower. He's got durability issues. He gets stung when he's countering.
I can't bet Brundage.
I can't bet Brundage either. So this is why I'm going to take McConico. I'm just going to bite down. But, well, 2 ways. One, I'd look at a live bet too. Like, if Brundage comes out here and swings on him, but can't take him out. When you watch McConico, the Tyler Ray fight is competitive for a round or two, and then he takes right over. The Maki Pitolo fight, by the 3rd round, he lands like a 25-punch combination of the body and puts him away. Against Kevin Felipe, it's much of the same. The longer these fights go, McConico's got a deep gas tank, so he's got to extend Cody Brundage a little bit. When McConico finds that rhythm, doesn't get knocked out early, when he can find that rhythm and start to really rack up numbers, that's what's going to make him successful. Because with Cody Brundage, this guy lost to Cedric Dumas, where he landed 3 strikes over 25 minutes. Yeah. His fight with Jacob Malkoun was 4 minutes and 15 seconds before he quit like a bitch and got his opponent disqualified. He had landed 2 strikes. His fight with Bo Nickel, that fight lasted 8 minutes and 38 seconds. He landed 4 strikes. Abdul Razak Al Hassan won, whatever. That one was 37 seconds. But the point being is that he's very, very low volume. Like, he mostly just
early.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, dog. Well, I mean, you got some D1 wrestling. I know you can wrestle. You got a nice blast double. Why don't you go to that? This goes right back because he trained in Colorado a long time, still does. Why don't you go back to your wrestling? Go back to his fight in the Contender Series versus William Knight. He shoots a takedown. He gets it. He holds the second Thick Willie got back up. Brundage is just like deflated. Willie knocks him out. Since then, it's like he's not taken an opponent down more than 3 times. He's not completed a single takedown since that Zachary's power bomb.
Almost killed him. I remember that fight too.
The which one?
Dolka Lungiambula.
Oh, he was kicking his ass and he got the guillotine choke. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, on one hand, I think he's got enough power to hurt McConico. The other thing I will give him is that I'm the first one to be like, dude, this guy's a prize fighter, a UFC athlete, gets into fights professionally for money, athlete, wrestled in college, has fought some decent guys here and there, and is like the biggest no heart quitter you've ever seen in your life. Then even though the ref bailed him out against Julian Marquez, where he's hurt, both guys drop their mouthpiece, he stops, gives it both back. But once he knocked out Marquez, he ran over the commentary team and he's like, "Who's the dog now?" Or who's not a dog now? Kind of like, I understand people are saying I'm a puss, and I just decided to go out on my shield like a man, which is cool. The last fight with Mansour Abdul Malik, going into the third round, which it's 1-1 in my opinion, he came out and just threw down. If he does that against McConico, decides to fight like a dog,
You could get a knockout early.
yeah, maybe you get a knockout early. For a guy that trains in Colorado and for a guy that's had a lot more experience and he's got 4 times the amount of UFC fights that his opponent does, it's like if he tries to go too hard too early, he's just gonna fade. And if he fades, McConico is able to take over. So this was ultimately the reason, and I know this is a nothing total narrative bullshit, but for me, this is what really just said, I'm just going to go ahead and take McConico. It's watch the Mansour Abdul Malik fight. The first round happens. Brundage sits in his corner. Mark Montoya from Factory X Muay Thai and his team, they come in, and before he can get 2 words out of his mouth, Brundage cuts him off, and he's like, "Yeah, man, but I'm hitting him hard. Counters on the outside. I'm countering him coming in, man." He's offended that as a coach has suggested that maybe he try a few more things. And he's like, "Yeah, okay, no problem. The second round, he takes his own advice. He does not listen to his coach. He loses the second round. He sits back down. Mark Montoya's like, I need you to mix in a takedown. And like, it's not that what you're doing on the feet isn't good. It's that you're going to have to do some more. This is a close fight. I need you to go out there and definitively win it." And it's like, "Oh, yeah. Runs out, swings like a madman, small headbutt drops him. Not a small headbutt, he got headbutt in the face. Drops like a sack of potatoes, rolls up, and then that's the end of the fight. It's like, I think this guy's uncoachable. And the reason why he's quitting all the time is like he's taking his own advice. He knows more than you knew about the situation. Hey, coach, you're not the one getting in here feeling this guy's power. You're not the one here in wrestling. That's fair. What's the point of having 3 guys sit cage side and analyze the fight for you if you're not going to take any of their advice? So against McConico, he'll do what he wants to do. And if he's going to win, maybe he wins early. But if it gets extended and I can maybe live bet this thing in the second or something like that, then McConico takes over. Once McConico takes over, he'll put him away. I want a better price, and I don't know if I'm going to get it. So sit on this one because it's so new. It may swing, and I'm not going to lie. If I was the lines maker, I would set Brundage as the favorite. There's enough reasons to suggest he's got more experience. He's fought a higher level. He can win this fight. But if I can get that dog money, I'm looking for a McConico. I think he's live. I'm never going to put my own dollars on Brundage. It ain't going to start here. So, yeah, this is a
We'll
dog.
see where it goes. I think that right now, I feel like it's setting the perfect. It's like we don't want to lay a minus number on Cody Brundage, but we realize the limitations of McConico. It's like they've got us. They've got it kind of right where they want it right now. Yeah. But who knows where the hell it'll move because it's so early in the week. I mean, yeah, if we can get like plus 200 McConico, like I'll probably take a shot. And just hope that he doesn't get his head knocked off in the early bit and is able to lay some hands on him as the fight goes on. McConico trains, I believe, out of Vegas and fights out of Vegas, part of the Tough Enough crew, everything like that. So I imagine he's probably ready. Maybe they're trying to get rid of Brundage after all of these.
Dude, thank you for bringing that up. You reminded me. Yeah, that was the other reason I took McConico. This fight's at 205.
Yeah,
right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And so when you watch McConico, he fought Jerome Thatch at 205. He fought somebody else at a 195 catchweight. Who was it? That was decent. He fought Kevin Felipe. That's at a 190 catchweight. He was supposed to fight Billy Alacana. Maybe it was his loss. His losses to Andre Walker and Dejan, which I kind of shit on him for a little bit. The one against Walker is at 205 as well. He's fought at 205 before. Brundage is the 85. Brundage is not that big. Brundage moving up is a good suggestion. He's not that good of shape. I'm already worried about his cardio. I think he's
7-inch reach advantage for McConico.
Yeah, like so.
4 years younger.
I want the dog money, but if I get the dog money,
4 years older though. Sorry.
Yeah, but big guys age a little bit better. If they were 35ers or 45ers or okay, whatever. Angela
Got to
Hill's
maintain
41
range.
years
Got to
old.
maintain range. Keep your head
Women
on your
age well.
shoulders. This isn't Nurse Sultan Ruzaboev, right?
Yeah.
Totally, like, throw that idea right out the window because Ruzaboev is an absolute animal. Is super, super long, dangerous, everything like that. So I don't know.
I will hit you with the PRP, and
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
leave you with this final story. One time I was in the back fight show, sitting in the back, and there was some TriStar guys on the card, and Faraz Zahabi's there. Faraz Zahabi's there. He's talking to one of his guys, and he's just like, "Hey, dude, maybe it was the guy's first fight. I'm pretty sure it was a debuting opponent." Faraz is there. He tells this guy, he's like, "Dude, I just went over into the other dressing room, and I saw your opponent, and like he's like 6'4". And the kid's like, no, like really, really, like he's really tall. He's really tall. He's like, yeah, man. He's like 6'4". He's like, not only that, like this guy might be on steroids. Dude. Like I've not seen a guy that thick in this division in like a long time. The guy's like, oh no way, no way. He's like, yeah, man. And I was talking to his coach, and like apparently he's a BJJ brown belt. He's got a bunch of high level kickboxing credentials. Now this kid's just sweating it out. He's like, oh my god, like I don't know, coach, I don't know. And then Faraz says, see, no, man, I'm just joking with you. That's your opponent right over there. And it's this squirrely little guy that's going to get his ass kicked by this TriStar stud, right? And he was like, don't worry about it, man. Like you think of this, I'm going to fight this monster. And then it's like, no, man, it's actually just that regular ass human being over there. You're like, oh, man, what a relief. That confidence starts to come back. Oh, I beat that guy. Oh, I'll beat that guy. McConico fought the proverbial monster the first time out in Ruzaboev. And now it's like, hey, dude, UFC debut, you fought that guy. Hey, dude, don't worry about it. You can fight that guy now, Cody Brundage. Yeah, that's oof. Okay, yeah, winnable task for me. I'm gonna go out there and do that. So if McConico is gonna win a fight in the UFC, it'd be one of these little low-level ones like this, where you can get a Cody Brundage coming up to 205 pounds. Maybe the real parlay, Paul, is McConico Fernandes, so you can say you faded Stoliarenko and Brundage, two fighters that you really just don't feel great about.
No.
Backing for the most part. And then here's your PRP. Favorite heavy, I get it, whatever. We'll try to hit some value on PFL Africa and KSW, that stuff. But for this stuff, Anthony Hernandez, watch it from a live betting standpoint. I'm going to take Steve Erceg, but makes me a little bit nervous. Dog number 1, Angela Hill. Christian Rodriguez, probably by decision, but all the same, Rodriguez. I got John Matsumoto. I got Christian Leroy Duncan. Maybe have a look at like a first-round knockout prop if you can get something good. Julius Walker, I will back him, even though he's a big favorite. Smith, backing him, but I'm worried about those triangle chokes. Still got him, though. Joselyne Edwards, I would say Joselyne Edwards by decision. Her first 4 UFC wins are by decision. Then, like, low-key, she's finished her last 2 opponents. So she understands the name of the game is finish and be entertaining. So I don't know if I love that by decision, but we still got Edwards. I'm going to take Gilbert Urbina. Strictly a system play. Too big of a line. If one of these big favorites is going to do something stupid, it's probably Uroš Medić that kind of fights like a, bit of a man on fire sometimes. Fernandes, I'll take her as well. Eryk McConico is officially dog number 3. So the dogs are McConico, Urbina, and Angela Hill, hoping for the best. Outside of that, hopefully the favorites go out there and do their thing. And then, if we can hit some multi-organizational parlays, fantastic. If you're over in the Discord, over on the Patreon, of course, we got the weigh-in and prop show on Friday. Would love to see you for that. If you want to talk more regionals, stuff beyond the UFC, of course, links in the description for Patreon. But, my man Paul Shaughnessy, hit him with the ending sequence, and let's get out of here, buddy.
That's it for us this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. For Cody, I'm Paul, saying goodbye and good luck.